The message came on a quiet Tuesday morning. Screens across Earth flickered with the same image. A tall, blue-skinned alien in flowing robes stared down at humanity with 6 cold eyes. "People of Earth," the alien said, "I am High Counselor Drawn of the Galactic Council. After much debate, the Council has made its decision. Humanity is hereby outlawed from all Council space." Commander Jack Wilson stood in Earth's United Defense Headquarters, surrounded by stunned officers. Nobody spoke as the alien continued. "Your species is too unpredictable, too dangerous. You will have 1 Earth year to move to the designated frontier planets. After that, your solar system will be blocked off completely." The screen went dark. For several seconds, silence filled the room. "Get me the president," Jack finally said. Now, 3 days later, massive alien ships appeared in orbit. They were unlike anything humans had built. Smooth, curved vessels that seemed to bend light around them. Earth's best weapons couldn't even scratch their hulls. Dr. Emily Reed watched from her lab as one passed overhead, casting a shadow over the city. "They're not even trying to hide their power," she said to her assistant. "They want us to know we can't fight back." Her computer beeped with an incoming message. It was from an old friend at the United Nations. The emergency meeting had ended. Earth would comply with the exile order. They had no choice. 5,000 credits per person. "No questions asked," Captain Tom Grant said, leaning back in his chair. The desperate family across from him looked at each other. "That's everything we have," the father said. Tom nodded. "Then you'll have a new home on Frontier 3. My ship leaves tonight." As they left, Tom's first mate frowned. "We could take more, you know. These people are losing everything." Tom sighed. "If we take too many, we'll get caught. If we get caught, nobody escapes." He looked at his list. 50 more passengers tonight. 50 more people he could save from being trapped on a dying Earth. Because Earth was dying. Not the planet itself, but human civilization on it. With the Council blockade, vital resources and technologies were already becoming scarce. The mass exodus had begun. In his private office, Jack Wilson reviewed the video message again. Something was wrong. The Council had welcomed humans to galactic society just 20 years ago. Why the sudden change? His security clearance gave him access to Council communications. He had spent days searching through files and finally found something interesting: private messages between Counselor Vel and other powerful aliens. "Humans adapt too quickly," Vel had written. "In another century, they will surpass us all. We must contain them now, while we still can." Jack leaned back, running a hand through his graying hair. It wasn't about danger. It was about fear. The oldest species in the galaxy were afraid of what humans might become. Dr. Reed's laboratory was being packed into crates. Most of her team had already left for the frontier worlds, but she remained, working until the last possible moment. "Doctor, you should see this," her last assistant called. On the screen was data from their space telescope. The Council ships were deploying something in orbit, massive devices at key positions around Earth. "They're building the blockade early," Emily said, her face pale. "We don't have a year. I think we have days." She grabbed her emergency bag. Years of research, hundreds of samples. She would have to leave most behind. But her most important work, her studies on alien biology, those she would save. "Get to Captain Grant's ship," she told her assistant. Now. The Council chamber was grand, with towering columns and a domed ceiling showing the stars of the galaxy. Counselor Vel stood in his private chamber adjacent to the main hall, speaking to several military commanders. "The blockade must be complete within 1 Earth week," he said. "Their ships are already escaping to the frontier. Too many have left." "But the official timeline," one commander began. "The official timeline was for the humans," Vel snapped. "I will not allow them another year to plot against us. Humanity must be contained." Captain Tom's ship, the Wanderer, was an ugly vessel. Patched together, mismatched parts, but fast and reliable. Tonight it was dangerously overcrowded. Word had spread about the accelerated blockade. "We can't take any more," Tom told the crowd at the spaceport. "The ship won't lift." From the back of the crowd, a woman pushed forward. Dr. Emily Reed. "Captain Grant," she said, "the Council is closing the blockade early. This might be the last ship out." Tom looked at the desperate faces in the crowd. Children, families, scientists, and teachers. People with nowhere else to go. "Get them aboard," he said finally. "All of them." Jack Wilson wasn't planning to leave Earth. Someone needed to stay, to lead those who couldn't escape, to find a way to survive under the blockade. But first, he needed to send a message. He transmitted everything he'd discovered about Counselor Vell's plot to ships already in flight. The galaxy needed to know the truth. As he finished the transmission, alarms blared. Outside his window, the sky turned strange colors as massive energy fields activated in orbit. The blockade had begun. The Wanderer was the last ship to break through. Captain Grant pushed the engines beyond safety limits as Council patrol ships moved to intercept. "They're locking weapons," his first mate shouted. In the passenger hold, people clung to each other. Dr. Reed closed her eyes, clutching her data drive. So much knowledge, so much potential. It couldn't end here. But the shots never came. A message flashed on Tom's command screen. "This is Counselor Lith," said a slender, green-skinned alien. "I disagree with my colleague's decision. I am jamming their targeting systems. You have 3 minutes to reach jump distance." Tom didn't waste time asking questions. "Full power to engines. Everyone hold on." The ship shuddered, metal groaning under the strain. Stars outside the viewport stretched into lines as they accelerated. And then, with a flash, they were gone, escaped to the frontier. Back on Earth, Jack Wilson stood on a rooftop, watching the strange curtain of energy that now surrounded the planet. Earth was cut off. 7 billion humans remained, trapped beneath the barrier. But nearly 1 billion had escaped to the frontier worlds. 1 billion humans with their ingenuity, their drive, their determination to survive. And they knew the truth about why they had been exiled. Jack smiled grimly. The Council thought they had contained humanity. They would learn just how wrong they were. Humanity had been cast out, but this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. 5 years had passed since the exile. The red dust of Frontier 3 coated everything. Governor Mark Wells wiped it from his face as he looked over New Hope, the largest human settlement in the frontier worlds. Once, he had been a city manager back on Earth. Now he governed 30,000 people living in dome structures and underground homes carved into the red rock. "The water recyclers are failing again," his assistant said, handing him a tablet. Mark sighed. "Tell Ben Fisher to look at them. If anyone can fix them, he can." Ben Fisher's workshop was a mess of parts. Alien technology mixed with human tools. At 25, he was too young to remember much about Earth. But he remembered enough to know life had been easier there. "The recyclers aren't designed for our water," he muttered, examining the broken filters. "Too many minerals in it." He grabbed a piece of salvaged alien tech, a water purifier from a crashed Council freighter. It wasn't meant to work with human systems, but Ben had a knack for making impossible things work. "This should do it," he said to his apprentices. "Get me those copper wires." By sunset, New Hope's water would be flowing again. On the edge of human space, Captain Tom Grant's ship docked at a hidden asteroid base. The Wanderer was no longer an ugly vessel. 5 years of upgrades had turned it into one of the fastest ships in the sector. "You're late," said Dr. Emily Reed, now thinner and harder than the woman who had fled Earth. "Council patrols," Tom replied. "They're getting closer to our routes." Emily nodded. "Come see what we found." Inside her lab, tables held alien medical equipment and biological samples. "I've been studying Council species," she said. "Their biology, their medical needs. Look." She showed him vials of medicine. "This works on humans and 6 other species. No one in the galaxy has cross-species medicine like this. The aliens have to use different treatments for each species. Tom whistled. How much can you make? Enough to trade. Enough to get what our settlements need. Far away, in the Grand Council chamber, Councillor Vell reviewed reports. Human settlements are growing, and Aide said. They've established 7 major colonies. They should be struggling to survive, Vell said, his 6 eyes narrowing. How are they getting supplies? Unknown, sir, but there's more. We've received reports of new medicines appearing in border worlds. Medicines that work across species. Council scientists have been trying to develop such treatments for centuries. Vell stood suddenly. Find the source. Councillor Lith moved carefully through the lower levels of the council station. Here, away from prying eyes, she met with her contacts, border world traders willing to smuggle information. Get this to the humans, she told the 4-armed trader, handing over a data crystal. It's old technology, nothing classified, but plans for atmosphere generators they could use. Why help them? The trader asked. Lith's inner eyelids blinked slowly. Because what the council did was wrong, and because someday we might need the humans. In his hidden command center deep under New Hope, Jack Wilson studied information from his growing network of spies. Council military ships are increasing patrols near the Sigma trade route, reported Director Kate Mason, his head of intelligence. Once she had been an accountant. Now she ran spies. They're looking for our medicine shipments, Jack said. Tell Dr. Reed to change the containers. Make them look like standard alien goods. Kate nodded. There's something else. The scavengers have hit another outer council world. 12,000 dead. Jack frowned. The scavengers had appeared 2 years ago, a mysterious species attacking from beyond known space. At first, he thought they might be useful, keeping the council busy. Now he wasn't so sure. Keep monitoring them, he said. I don't like unknowns. Ben Fisher climbed to the top of New Hope's central dome as the 2 suns set. The view never got old. Red desert stretching to the horizon, harsh but beautiful. His communicator beeped. It was Governor Wells. Ben, I need you at the landing pad. Captain Grant just arrived with new salvage. Something big. 20 minutes later, Ben stared at the alien device. It was sleek, cylindrical, clearly advanced. Found it drifting in space, Tom said. No idea what it does. Ben circled it slowly. This is Council military tech. Top-grade stuff. Can you figure it out? Mark asked. Ben grinned. Give me a week. A week later, Ben called them back. The device sat connected to a tangle of wires and human computers. It's a shield generator, Ben said. More advanced than anything the Council has ever let us see. But I found something better. He pointed to a component inside. This is their energy source. It's tiny but powerful. If I can replicate it, we could power the whole settlement, Mark breathed. No more rationing. Better, Ben said. We could power ships. Ships that could outrun anything the Council has. Dr. Reed's new medicine had spread through the frontier. Alien traders came secretly to human settlements, seeking treatments their own doctors couldn't provide. In her lab, Emily met with a tall, green-skinned alien, Councillor Lith herself. The Council is noticing your medicines, Lith warned. Be careful. We need more than caution, Emily said. We need allies. Lith's 4-fingered hand touched Emily's shoulder. You already have some. Not all of us agreed with the exile. On a distant council world, a settlement burned. The scavengers left nothing alive, their ships dark shapes against the flames. They were moving inward toward council core worlds and toward human space. In New Hope's meeting hall, Jack Wilson addressed the settlement leaders gathered from across human space. On screens, others joined from distant colonies. 5 years ago, they cast us out, Jack said. They expected us to die quietly. Instead, we've built new homes. We've created technologies they never imagined. We've made medicines they couldn't develop in 1,000 years. The hall erupted in cheers. But now we face a choice, Jack continued when the noise died down. The scavengers are coming. They destroy everything in their path. The council can't stop them. Let the council fall, someone shouted. They deserve it. Jack shook his head. If the council falls, the scavengers will come for us next. And there's more. He displayed a message from Councillor Lith. Some in the council regret what was done to us. Some would be allies, if we prove ourselves trustworthy. How do we do that? Governor Wells asked. Jack's face was grim but determined. By saving them from the scavengers. By showing them that humanity is not what they feared, but what they need. Silence fell across the hall as humans considered this path. It won't be easy, Jack said. But remember, we were never supposed to survive at all. Yet here we stand. One by one, the leaders nodded. If humanity could survive exile, they could face whatever came next. Outside, as the meeting continued, the first stars appeared in the alien sky, distant lights in the darkness, like the hope that now burned in human hearts. Not just to survive, but to return. 10 years into humanity's exile, Admiral Jones stood on the bridge of the Defiance, the flagship of humanity's small but growing fleet. The ship hummed with energy from Ben Fisher's replicated power cores. Status report, the Admiral said, watching the stars through the viewscreen. All systems normal, his first officer replied. The new shield modifications are holding at 94% efficiency. Jones nodded. Once he had commanded a small Earth defense cruiser. Now he led 37 ships, cobbled together from salvage and human innovation. Not a proper navy yet, but growing stronger each day. Admiral, the communications officer called. Incoming message from Director Mason. Priority 1. In her underground command center, Director Kate Mason studied the holographic map showing the positions of the scavenger fleet. Red markers had moved steadily closer to Council core worlds over the past year. They've taken 3 more systems this month, she told Admiral Jones over the secure channel. The Council forces are retreating everywhere. Any pattern to the attacks? Jones asked. They hit, they destroy, then move on, Kate replied. But there's something new. Look at this trajectory. She sent the data. A projected path showed the scavengers' next likely targets. One line pointed directly toward human space. How long? Jones asked, his face grim. 3 months, maybe less. Dr. Emily Reed's laboratory had expanded into a proper research facility. Dozens of scientists worked under her direction, studying samples from the scavenger attack sites. I need those tissue samples analyzed again, she told her assistant. There's something we're missing. A council trader had smuggled the biological material from a devastated world. The scavengers had left their dead behind, the first anyone had recovered. Under her microscope, Emily studied the alien cells. They were unlike any species known to the council, but there was something familiar about their structure. Run a comparison with Earth extremophile bacteria, she suddenly said. The deep-sea vent samples. As the computer worked, Emily's heart raced. If she was right, the scavengers might have a weakness no one else could find. Ben Fisher climbed out of the access hatch, his face streaked with grease. Around him, the new shipyard hummed with activity as workers assembled humanity's newest vessels. The targeting system is calibrated, he told the waiting engineers. But I've modified it. It should be twice as accurate now. Twice? One engineer asked. How? Ben grinned. Council weapons are designed to target standard ship configurations. Ours aren't standard. I've created adaptive targeting that learns as it fights. Governor Wells approached, looking worried. Will it be enough? The reports about these scavengers. Ben's smile faded. I don't know, but we'll keep improving until it is. Councillor Vell paced his private chambers, reading reports of another devastating defeat. Their ships tear through our defenses like they aren't even there, his military advisor said. Our standard tactics are useless. Increase production of warships, Vell ordered. Triple the patrols on our core worlds. Sir, we've already committed 80% of our fleet. The outer colonies are asking for help. Let them fall, Vel snapped. We must protect the center. After the advisor left, Vel stared at another report on his desk. Rumors of human ships operating beyond their designated frontier worlds. Rumors of advanced technology. He crushed the report in his hand. Even now, humanity remained a threat. Captain Tom Grant's ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of a system recently attacked by scavengers. Life signs? He asked. None, sir, his first mate replied. The colony is dead. Tom had seen many terrible things in his years as a smuggler, but the sight on the view screen chilled him. The planet's surface was scarred with massive impact craters. Nothing moved in the ruins of the alien colony. Captain, his sensor officer called. I'm picking up something. A ship, but not scavenger or council design. Tom studied the readings. Get us closer, but ready to jump out if needed. The Wanderer approached cautiously. Floating in space was a small vessel, its hull marked with strange symbols. It's broadcasting a distress signal, the communications officer said. In multiple languages. One of them. It's English. Tom's eyes widened. English? That's impossible. In New Hope's command center, Jack Wilson met with the human leadership. The scavengers will reach our space within 3 months, he said. We have 3 options: run, hide, or fight. Our settlements are just beginning to thrive, Governor Wells argued. We can't abandon them. And hiding is temporary at best, Admiral Jones added. The scavengers are thorough. Jack nodded. Then we fight, but not alone. He activated a communication channel. Counselor Lith's green face appeared. Have you considered my proposal? Jack asked. Lith's inner eyelids blinked slowly. The Council has rejected any official alliance with humans. Counselor Vel made sure of that. And unofficially? Some of us understand the threat better than others. I can bring 3 battle groups to your coordinates when the time comes. It wasn't much against the scavenger fleet, but it was a start. Dr. Reed burst into Jack's office, her eyes bright with excitement. I found it, she said. The scavenger's weakness. She spread her data on his desk. They're silicon-based life forms, not carbon-based like most species, but they have a unique cellular structure that makes them vulnerable to a specific frequency of radiation. Can we weaponize it? Jack asked. Emily nodded. I've already designed a delivery system, a biological agent that emits the radiation when it contacts their biology. How long to produce enough? With all our resources, 2 months. Jack's face darkened. The scavengers will be here in less than that. Then we need to slow them down, Emily said. Admiral Jones briefed his captains on the battle plan. We can't stop the scavengers' main force, but we can disrupt their advance. Hit and run attacks here, and here. He pointed to locations on the star map. Our ships are faster, he continued. We strike, we damage, we retreat before they can respond. If we're lucky, we buy Dr. Reed the time she needs. One captain raised a hand. And if we're not lucky? Jones met her eyes steadily. Then humanity makes its last stand. A week later, the first battle came. 3 human ships against a scavenger scout force near an abandoned mining outpost. The scavengers attacked without warning or communication, their dark ships moving with terrible purpose. But the human vessels were faster, more agile. Ben Fisher's modified shields held against weapons that had torn through Council defenses. The adaptive targeting systems learned with each exchange. When it was over, 2 scavenger ships drifted as wreckage. The 3rd human ship had been damaged but limped home with its crew alive. It was a small victory, but word spread quickly through human space and beyond. Humanity had stood against the scavengers and won. In the council chamber, reports of the battle caused an uproar. Impossible, Counselor Vel declared. No one has defeated even a scavenger scout force. The reports are verified, another counselor said. The humans have technologies we don't understand. Technologies they shouldn't have. Vel slammed his fist down. Technologies beyond their exile restrictions. Perhaps, said Counselor Lith carefully, we should be less concerned with how they defeated the scavengers, and more interested in the fact that they did. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. For the first time in 10 years, humanity had the Council's attention, not as exiles, but as potential saviors. And in the darkness between the stars, the main scavenger fleet continued its relentless advance. Ambassador Mike Taylor never imagined he would stand in the Galactic Council chamber. As a traitor before the exile, he had only seen pictures of this grand hall with its high ceiling that displayed the stars of the galaxy. Now he waited as the council members entered, their various alien forms moving to their seats. Many stared at him with open suspicion or curiosity. Humans had not been welcome here for a decade. High Counselor Dron, the blue-skinned alien who had announced humanity's exile years ago, spoke first. The council recognizes Ambassador Taylor of the human settlements. You may address us. Mike stepped forward. He was not a politician, just a traitor chosen because he understood alien customs. But today, he spoke for all humanity. Counselors, he began, the scavengers have destroyed 37 of your worlds. Your fleets retreat before them. We bring you away to fight back. Murmurs filled the chamber. Counselor Vel's 6 eyes narrowed. And why would exiles help us? Vel asked. Mike's voice remained steady. Because if you fall, we're next. Dr. Emily Reed stood beside Mike, facing the council's science committee. Behind them, armed guards watched their every move. The council still didn't trust humans. The scavengers are silicon-based life forms, Emily explained, displaying her research. They evolved in environments we would find impossible, but this makes them vulnerable to specific radiation frequencies. She showed them data from successful tests. This biological agent releases targeted radiation when it contacts scavenger biology. It doesn't harm other species. Impossible, a council scientist said. We've studied their remains for months without finding such a weakness. Emily smiled slightly. With respect, you were looking in the wrong places. On Earth, we have extremophile organisms with similar properties. We knew what to search for. The council scientists examined her data with growing excitement. One turned to Counselor Lith. This could work, he said. In orbit above the council's capital world, General Alan Pierce inspected the newly formed joint fleet. Human ships, small but fast, flew alongside the larger council vessels. Their ships are powerful, but slow to change course, Alan told the council commanders. Their targeting systems are precise but predictable. We need to use unpredictable patterns. The alien commanders looked skeptical. For centuries, the council military had used standard formations and tactics. Show them the scavenger battle recordings, Alan ordered his aide. The holographic display showed previous battles. Council ships in perfect formation, decimated by the scavengers. Now watch this, Alan said. The display changed to show the human victory against the scavenger scout force. Human ships moved in random patterns, never staying in formation, changing speed and direction constantly. This is chaos, a council commander objected. Yes, Alan agreed. And chaos is what the scavengers can't predict. In his private chambers, Counselor Vel met with loyal supporters. The humans should never have been allowed to return, he said. Their ships violate exile restrictions. Their weapons use technology they shouldn't possess. But we need them, an aide argued. The scavengers. The scavengers are a temporary problem. Vel interrupted. Humans are a permanent threat. If we allow them back into galactic society, they'll eventually dominate us all. He activated a small device on his desk. I've placed tracking beacons on their ships. When the time comes, we'll know every human position. After they help us defeat the scavengers, we'll eliminate the human problem permanently. Jack Wilson, now serving as advisor to Ambassador Taylor, reviewed security reports from Director Mason. Vel has been meeting with military commanders loyal to him. Kate said over the secure channel. "We believe he's planning something. Can you access his communications?" Jack asked. Kate nodded. "Working on it. But the security on Council systems is tough. Keep trying. I don't trust that six-eyed snake." Jack ended the call and looked out the window at the Council city. After 10 years in exile, he should have felt triumph being here. Instead, he felt exposed. The first major battle against the scavengers began at a crucial junction system. 500 Council ships and 37 human vessels faced nearly 1,000 scavenger craft. General Pierce coordinated from the command ship. "Remember the plan," he told the commanders. "Council ships provide the heavy firepower. Human ships run interference and create confusion." The scavengers attacked in their usual pattern, direct and overwhelming. But this time, they faced a different defense. Human ships darted between the larger Council vessels, drawing scavenger fire, then changing course unpredictably. The Council ships, instead of maintaining formation, broke into smaller groups that attacked from multiple angles. For the first time, the scavengers seemed confused. "They're adjusting," Pierce warned, as the battle progressed. "Their artificial intelligence is learning." "Then it's time for Dr. Reed's surprise," Ambassador Taylor said from the command deck. Emily watched from the science vessel as specially equipped human ships pushed forward through the battle. Each carried canisters of her biological agent. "Delivery ships in position," the communications officer reported. "Release the agent," Emily ordered. The canisters launched, exploding in clouds that drifted through space toward the scavenger vessels. For several minutes, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, scavenger ships began to slow. Some drifted aimlessly. Others turned on each other, their systems malfunctioning. "It's working," Emily breathed. On the command ship, officers cheered as the scavenger fleet fell into disarray. "All ships, press the attack," General Pierce ordered. The combined human Council fleet surged forward. What had been a desperate defense became a rout. Scavenger ships couldn't coordinate, their systems failing as the biological agent spread through their vessels. Within hours, the battle was over. The scavenger fleet retreated, leaving hundreds of disabled ships behind. "We did it," Ambassador Taylor said, turning to General Pierce. "The first major victory against them." The news spread quickly through Council space. After months of defeats, hope returned, and with it came a new respect for the humans who had made it possible. In the Council chamber, High Counselor Drawn addressed the gathered representatives. "Today marks a turning point in our war against the scavengers. For this victory, we must acknowledge our debt to humanity." Cheers erupted from many counselors. But Vel remained silent, his eyes cold. Ambassador Taylor stepped forward. "This is only the beginning. We must take the fight to the scavengers now, before they adapt to our tactics." "Agreed," Drawn said. "General Pierce will lead a joint fleet to pursue the scavengers back to their territory." As the meeting continued, Director Mason slipped a data chip to Jack Wilson. "We've broken into Vel's private communications," she whispered. "You need to see this immediately." Jack reviewed the data, and his face darkened. Vel wasn't just planning to re-exile humanity after the war. He was planning their complete destruction. But Vel had made one critical mistake. He had underestimated humanity once before. Jack wouldn't let him make that mistake again. The battle against the scavengers had been won. The battle for humanity's future was just beginning.